Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. Supportive Oracle cards. Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. I like the energy. I like this energy. I like this. Okay, we're liking this. Well, that's very interesting. Is this good? Yeah, no, this is good. Okay. Okay. This is good. Alright, let's see where we're going with this. There's one moment here. No, I think it's Gemini energy. I think you're going to really handle this very well. This is going to turn into a very strong positive for you. You have good energy at the end here. Let's see where things are going. Gemini. Starting off with Mermaid Seduction and the Home Safe Protection. So you like people being attracted to you. That's fine. But it's also kind of like, they need to mind their business. It's okay that people give you compliments. It's okay that people say that they like this or they like that. But when you have, when there's a line you don't want crossed, for example, maybe it's your home, you don't let certain people near your home, or you don't let certain people do, there's just a line here. Just don't get into my personal business, don't do this, don't do that. You have a line. So it's okay that people like you and that people have compliments and people like to share whatever they're thinking. But there's definitely a line here of respect. Don't get into my family life. Don't get into my home life. Don't start just digging into where you think you have a voice, because unless I've told you or asked you for your opinion, I don't want your opinion in this arena. So I'm getting you do like good conversations. You do like fun conversations. A little bit inquisitive is fine, but when you say the home safe protection is kind of like when somebody crosses the line, it's not so much that they cross the line. It's kind of like when you tell them, okay, that subject is off limits, or that subject I'm not into talking to you about, you expect that to be respected. Now, that seems very rational. You get organization in the environment. Be careful here. I feel like this is a gift for you to see somebody for who they are. If you find people who keep crossing the line and you tell them no, yet they bully their way across that line repeatedly, this is supposed to be a gift to you. How so? I'm like, how so? Because this might be your heads up to what subjects or what conversations to never bring towards this person. Don't open a door even slightly, because this person's going to kick it open if they even realize the door is there and you just inch it open a little bit just to look out. They're going to kick that door in and try to take control. So they're trying to hopefully this comes forward in small conversations. It's almost like, I know for some people, food is a thing. I don't mind people telling me what they think is a good thing to eat, but I don't have any patience for somebody trying to control what I eat. I don't have any patience for that. If I'm going to choose to eat cheese, then I'm going to eat cheese. It's not for you to, not for somebody else to tell me that's right or wrong. And I'm not into the whole I need to validate my choice thing. My cholesterol is good, so I can have cheese, so not for nothing. But it's just kind of one of those things where certain people just feel like they have the right to tell you, or the right to say this is what you should do or this is what you shouldn't do. There should be small conversations where you're picking this up right in the beginning, into which you don't want to talk about certain things. It could be food related in the beginning, where you don't want to talk about that with them, but they keep busting across that line and creating those conversations anyway. And you're it's annoying, but this is more of the gift of this part. Kind of well, if there's other situations like family or friend situations that you really don't want to talk about this person with, just don't acknowledge it. Or if that subject seems to start up, change it. And just keep changing it. that's a really strength. I feel like that's a strength of Gemini. Um, you can take a conversation and refract it like you would through a diamond. You can send it so many different directions that people will not realize that you changed the subject. Like by the time they realize you changed the subject, it's time to go. Like it's time to leave. I feel like that's a strength of Gemini. Let me know, because I feel like you could take a conversation and like refract it like you're refracting it through a piece of light, through a beam of light, through a diamond. You can send it off so many different ways that are still connected but so different that you can get somebody off a subject if you really want to. It's just for them not to realize to come back to it. That's the challenge. Now I got energy coming up on your side next, and I got this person keeps trying to get into your business. Is this good? I think this is good. Like, I'm questioning this because like this person, I'm just like, what is up with them? You've got a lot of energy. You're not one to back down if you don't want to. But I feel like you're able to use your mind to defend yourself. You could end up like defending yourself without the other person really understanding that that's what you're doing. Now, how do you do that? How does that happen? That sounds interesting. In other words, you can use conversations and actions that you're doing and completely turn this person around and get them to go away without them even realizing that you were just trying to get rid of them. So you typically know how to get rid of somebody without them realizing that's what you want. Because I feel like somebody's trying to find another way to get into your life and cause you issue. But I'm getting the power of Gemini here. The power of Gemini. Should have a t-shirt with that. The power of Gemini. Behold the power of Gemini. I will confuse you. No. That's funny because Geminis are really smart, but I feel like people underestimate them constantly. You seem to be throwing this person in so many circles, they don't even know their name after a while. I swear, it seems like you were putting them in so many circles, but it seems so valid. Like you stay in the same topic, but you spin it so many different ways, they don't know which way is up after a while. I think that's the strength of Gemini. I really think that's one of your strengths. Because I'm getting the joy with the Empress here. Like you're giving this person what they deserve, and you're not letting them get under your skin. You're not letting them get under your skin. The thing is, the challenge is to not get too entertained with this, because if they really start getting on your nerves, turning them around in circles might actually feel like, it might have like a little revenge feel to it. Just don't get too caught up in it, because I feel like this person deserves it, because they've crossed lines too many times, and it's kind of like, there we go, I'll give you what you deserve. Literally, I think this person is going to get so confused that they're going to walk away. They don't know what to do. They can't keep up with your conversations. They're starting to feel inadequate. I don't feel bad about it. Because what I'm seeing come in with this, there's a separation happening between the two of you. Because I feel like literally, you might be getting addicted to this. Because I feel like this is your mind going in so many different directions where you can keep up with what you're talking about. You have no problem with that, obviously. But they can't. And then you keep coming around like we've already talked about that. Why did you do that? And I feel like you're doing that because this is what you need to do to defend yourself. You're making them feel inadequate. I don't feel bad for them. They should have backed off anyway. They can't keep up. I'm getting the Page of Swords is like they keep trying to keep up, but it's kind of like a child, like a 7 or 8 year old child trying to keep up with like a college graduate about world affairs. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I feel like you're the college graduate, they're the 7-year-old, and the subject is world affairs. There's no way they're going to keep up with you. And it gets to the point where they just feel so out of touch with what you're talking about that I literally think they're going to disappear. Because I'm getting this King of Coins, like they have to accept that they can't keep up. It's not even like whether you want their attention or not, which I don't think you do. I really don't think you want their attention. But them realizing that seems to be a challenge. I don't know what that's about, but they may be a little delusional, just to be fair. They got the King of Pentacles, which is very interesting, because when it comes up against this energy The King of Pentacles is very, I know what I know, and I stick in my lane, and I stay in my lane, and this is what I know, and I stay in my lane, and I know what I know, and I stay in my lane. And you're just like, what lane? What are you talking about? There's no lane here. Why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? And like, you're questioning everything they're doing almost. They are really uncomfortable. All they can do is walk away. And I feel like they do. You can't make things go right with this person. So the only thing, I feel like if this is really hitting, you can't make things go right with this person. Like, they just refuse to respect boundaries. So you're literally blocking them off and moving on by confusing them. Because you're blocking them and moving on because you've confused them to the point where they don't have the confidence to come forward towards you anymore. That's really all I'm getting with that part. There's a whole line here. So what is this next part? Getting rid of this energy seems to really free up your energy. Because I'm like looking at the end of this and I'm like, are we done with this? And they're telling me this is where this ends, but something else picks up after this. When you get rid of this energy, a whole new arena opens up for you. And I feel like you're at the precipice of something else coming in. A 15 is popping out there, so I mean it's a general read. I don't know who that's going to hit for. Something about the 15th. Aphrodite's love spell, Justice, and the 8 of Wands. But I'm getting a 15 feel here. Very much a 15. I mean, they're both blue cards, but I don't know what to say about that. You're going towards a lot stronger things. When I'm getting Justice for you, though, I don't feel bad about it. I feel like you've cleared the way. Kind of like you've gotten rid of certain things, and now you're not letting anything that's less than that come in. So this person exiting in whatever respect is leaving an opening for you. And you've got something where something is coming in very quickly. But the Justice makes me feel good. Like, you've done the work to get rid of this person. And you did it in a way that it did not seem bad to me. That seems fair. I don't feel bad about it in any sense. But I'm also getting with the Aphrodite's love spell that you're very happy. Like, it's kind of like a weight lifted. Like, finally, goodbye. Something new is coming towards you. So you want to like define this carefully in the beginning. You want to have your strong foot forward in the sense of like set boundaries right off the bat. You want to set boundaries right off the bat. So even if it seems harsh, or maybe in your mind, maybe you're thinking maybe that's uncalled for to go right into boundaries. Whoever this person is, if you set boundaries right off the bat, you may have to hold them a little bit in the beginning, but it'll be a lot easier and you will set up this connection with this person, be it romantic, be it a friendship, be it a work relationship, whatever you got going on there. You set this up from the beginning. You might have to police it a little bit in the beginning, just a little bit. It doesn't seem that bad. Just force yourself to do that. Shouldn't be that hard. You will set up this connection with this person, whoever it is, for a very healthy, happy connection. When you make that connection right off the bat, and it may seem like, well, nothing's come forward. Nobody's caused a problem. I don't want to be that person that like, I think you're going to be a problem, so before you get a chance to be a problem, I'm going to tell you where to stick it. That's not what you're doing. You're just basically saying, you just let this person know right off the bat, when I say I don't want to talk about something, then we're not talking about it. And vice versa. You also extend that respect to them. If you say you don't want to talk about something, then I'm not going to bring it up either. I get that. If I don't want to do this, that means I don't want to do this. Don't push me. And vice versa. If you say you don't want to do that, then I respect that you don't want to do that. And like, you're just defining boundaries right off the bat. Certain subjects, once we've decided, you even may say, certain subjects I'm willing to think about it or talk about it a little bit. But if I say I'm done with talking about it, then that conversation needs to stop. We need to move on to something else. If it's something important that we need to work on together, then we need to shelve it and come back to it later. Because if I say stop, that means I've hit the end of my rope and I need time to think, or I need time to simmer down about what's going on. Set that boundary. Healthy boundaries will make for a healthy connection. This could be romance. I'm getting for a number of you, this could be like the next romance coming in. Set your expectations right in the beginning. And I feel like that's hard for people. Kind of like, well, I don't want to turn this person off, or I don't want them to think I'm an ogre. you're not doing that. You're simply just setting up that expectation, and you're going to set this going forward. I know there's one thing where the analogy I'm getting here, and I've experienced this myself, people who get very, I don't want to say negative, but it's got a negative turn to it. Like when you do something wrong, they get this wisecrack like, oh, I guess you did that wrong. Or they have some type of tone where, well, if you did it like I said to do it, I guess that wouldn't have happened. When they have that tone, you need to nip it right in the bud. Because even if you can stomach it that first time and let it go, that's usually not a one-time deal. That's usually a pattern. If you snip that in the bud in the very beginning, if they do something like that right in the beginning, even before they do it, even like they might even have it like maybe they do that, but you haven't seen it, or maybe you've seen them do that to someone else. You call it out before it's an issue, and you just say, I'm not going to tolerate it. If you have to be that way, you're going to have to be that way with someone else. You make that expectation right off the bat. It's easier for them to get into a pattern of not doing that right off the bat, instead of like getting used to it, treating you a certain way, and then you saying, well, I don't like that, and then them trying to change it when they've gotten used to treating you a certain way. Like you're preemptively stopping it before it even happens. You might even be doing this person a favor and getting them to stop a behavior that really nobody likes and they need to get a hold of. So nipping that in the bud makes it easier for them to start correcting it. Because like if they have to treat you a certain way, they're not allowed to treat you that way. Then they realize, well, if I can't treat the Gemini that way, I probably shouldn't treat these other people, because if I treat these other people that way, then I'm in that mindset and I might just do it without even realizing. So in order to not treat the Gemini that way, I'm not going to treat these other people that way either. That way I don't fall back into that bad pattern, whether they realize or agree it's a bad pattern or not. I really think you're helping somebody by nipping it right in the bud, by the way. Because I feel like a lot of you are setting standards and you don't really fully realize problems that somebody else has. But by setting this standard right off the bat, you're giving them a higher bar to achieve, and they're watching their P's and Q's in a way that they really should anyway. It's a good thing. And I feel like they're saying this first part, they're saying that's what you can take from this first part. You got to a point where you had to shut something down because somebody started treating you a way you didn't like. And the only thing you could do after a while was just remove them from your life. This next one coming in might have similar patterns, but if you nip it in the bud, it may not ever be a problem because you're not letting it be a problem. All right, I hope that came across right. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.